this week, our special guest is someone who's very special to me because when I went to Gamescom, he was like my main dude. We hung out most of the time. We just became two peas in the pod, sharing our different experiences in gaming, our different experiences based on where we are in the world, walking back and forth, maybe being accosted by someone because it was like 3 a.m. and we were just trying to get to our station, leaving an after party to get to the last train back to our hotel and having to hoof it while sweating the entire time, which was an entire experience. But hey, there was no person I'd rather share it with. So I'm going to bring you all someone special as advertised, the head of 3D art and animation, David. Ta-da!
Hey guys,
Hey man, it
thank you for that introduction. Absolutely right about Gamescom. That was wonderful.
was a good experience, right?
Yeah, yeah, and especially like the late midnight like trains and whatever that was. Yeah, good
It was
stuff.
it was a fun text saying, "Hey, we have to catch our last train. Where are you? I'm already crossing the bridge." And then looking up and being like, "He is already crossing the bridge. Oh my gosh, we have to get over there."
Yeah,
How was that your first Gamescom, by the way?
it was. I've never been. I've been in the gaming industry for 5 years or so. Um, but never had the opportunity to. And now I was invited by Renee. So it's wonderful to meet the other guys of the team, especially because we work remote. So it's really nice to see each other. Well, like I love working remote. It's super easy for me and everything, but it's just nice to see the other guys and they're real people and they're fun and like to hang out and to, grab a drink and talk about games and talk about, like you said, life and so on. Um,
Yes.
so it's really good, especially also like team building.
Team building, I agree, was important. And although Greece, you say that he dodged the F1 crew at Gamescom, I mean, there's no telling. This will be another Gamescom. You never know. We might return to Gamescom, and then David will have no choice but to confront you.
I did meet you guys actually. I even got
Oh,
like from the mystery pouch the little scroll with like whatever that was on there, like something mean. I can't remember what
yes.
drop I had, but it wasn't a great one.
I got the same drop. Shakiti introduced me to it and was like, "Here, dig the mystery pouch," and I was so pumped up. And I think it
Same.
was wooden incense, like it always is. Something like
I
that.
think so, something like that.
It was not great, is what I found out. And then I found out wooden incense. Yeah, that's what it was. And then I found out the odds were against us. We were pretty much guaranteed to get wooden incense. So thank you for that. And good memory, too, to detail that. So, David, welcome to the stream. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment to introduce yourself, how you got into gaming, and what it is you do at Blankhans.
All right. So, well, I'm David. I have been in the industry, and like I said, 5 years in gaming now. But I am head of 3D and animation. Um, Originally started uh, like 7, 8 years ago in the industry, and when I say the industry, it's like one bigger, where I call it the 3D industry for myself, um, because I started in movies and animation. So I worked on a bunch of movies for Netflix animation, My Little Pony, and there's like what it's called, Mama K. I think it's like Super 4 now, which is like an African like superhero type, like Totally Spies type TV show.
Nice.
But like most of us, gaming is a big passion. And it's one of the things that I really just wanted to do. Like I wanted to be like I really enjoy working on movies, but like the interactive medium is different in that matter.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I love it. And so it was really like a for me trying to get here, and I was very lucky. It was during COVID, so about like 2, 3 years ago at this point, where um, somebody sent me a message like, "Hey, do you want to check out an opening at Rare?" So those are the guys who make Sea of Thieves. I'm looking at the poster of the release right there,
Yeah.
um,
Killer Instinct.
and that as well. Killer Instinct, Banjo Kazooie, GoldenEye, like, but that's like back in the day. And then they
Yeah.
did Perfect Dark, and they did a bunch of Connect stuff, but they really, came back around. And Sea of Thieves is awesome. And it was great to work on that, especially to work as my first job in the industry to work for Xbox. Um, and then there was an opportunity at Blankhans, which like it was a young team, a lot of experienced people that really tried to build something awesome. Cool game, cool people. That really was one of the things that I like in my first interview. I met Hauke, lovely guy. Then the second one, Renee and Marcus. And it was just really, I really enjoyed that, and yeah, great opportunity. So there I was, part of the environment art team.
And there he is right there too, saying, and he denies to build me MLP characters.
Yes, there's enough of those around. No, I was never a character artist. Like I'm an environment artist. You don't want me to. I think that's the better thing. I'm not worth the money there.
So you're head of 3D art and animation and you're environmental artist. Has that always been like your forte? Like you just develop into that, or it's just what you think you're best at?
It's kind of difficult. Like I studied in Orlando, Florida, and at Universal Studios actually, and it was 1 year, and I did everything because before that I did chemistry and everything. Like I was fairly
Ah,
late. Like I was
STEM
20.
majors, blah.
Yeah, no, I was 25 when I sort of finally took the chance to actually like follow my passion or something. It wasn't really that type of choice, but it was sort of like it gradually just grew there. And but yeah, long story short, I did everything in the 3D and animation pipeline, as in like I'm gonna say a bunch of technical terms like modeling, animation, rigging, which is like preparing for animation and so on. Mainly focused on movies then, and yeah, like that was really like the first thing. And now like I just sort of found that was the most like I just enjoy 3D, and it's
Yeah.
really like all those things around it. And some of the like animation, I your eye grows, and it's like I've been actually like writing quite a bit with like juniors, or like sharing my sort of like adding to articles on LinkedIn and everything. um and not because I'm the guy to talk to, but I'm a guy to talk to. Like there's like with my experience that I have now, like I can be part or help mainly like juniors or people that like me 10 years ago, what I wanted to do, the information that I might have needed or wanted to know, and so on. And it's a lot of fun to share that. But 3D modeling back then was the thing that I enjoyed the most, and uh, yeah, slightly that grew into usually, so it's sort of props and environment are sort of one group, and then you have character, and I guess those are the main, at least the easiest sort of separation there. But it is a different skill. Yeah, definitely.
I think you're doing the right thing as far as paying it forward. I like the idea of saying, this is what I know, this is what I'm passing on. This is my opportunity to teach others things that maybe I wish I had known or things that I had known, like you said, 10 years back. Not only doing that as a responsible human being in the industry, but doing it within the company as well, because it's only going to make
Yeah,
Blankhans stronger in terms of preparation and creating things we need to create.
yeah. No, absolutely. And it's that's really one of the things that I think was so much fun. Like we had an intern, oh yeah, and she was great, like really, really good. And she moved on. She has a job somewhere else now, which is great. There was no room for us for her here, but she's now at another company, so it's awesome. And it was so much fun, and like she's that example there. But it's so much fun to have somebody that's passionate, like just wants to do cool stuff.
Yes.
So it's really just fun to have her there, help her, say like, "Oh, have you thought of this? How do you see that?" And then, like also like let them share their ideas, like how this is what I think is cool, and it's nice to see people grow.
No, I 100% agree. Growing is always important. Greece, I don't know if he's responsible for the superhero landing animation that takes place now. I have seen the post on Discord from you,
Oh,
Snowtech, and a few others. So, yes. But I don't know if that was David or not.
might be like I don't know what animation is. I assume I know the one. If I haven't seen it, then I'm afraid to now click something else before we crash the
No,
stream again like earlier.
that's smart that you're not clicking anything else. Let's keep
Yeah.
it where it is, too. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't forget about our amazing Nina. There you go. Thank you, Renee. So, to showcase all the cool things, because it's nice to speak with you, It's nice to know your background. It's nice to reminisce. But since this is the weekly Blankhans stream, and this week is the weekly Coreborn stream, as I understand it, we have pre approved, safe, non leaking content. Is that true or false?
We're trying our best. Like we always find something to leak, but I just like I said earlier, like I just deleted one thing that could have been not really a leak, but enough of a leak to delete it.
I was worried at first because you had the water in hand, and like for me, that's the first sign of like, let me take a swig of this before I answer because. Yeah, totally. It's totally safe. It's a precautionary measure. Oh, this is actually an interesting question right here. You were using LOD, right? Explain to us the Unreal 5 nanite?
So yes, like both. And we in the beginning we were I'm not sure what version of Unreal we were on. I think 5 anyway, but not sure if Nanite was really like a it was a thing, but not like how good it was and like how stable, because that's always the problem, right? It's like you cool new technology, problems.
Yes.
And Epic is great at fixing those, and like there's help there as well, and like there's a great system anyway to get all that information. But mainly the uh, taking those steps, like we had a proven thing with our LODs, and LOD is level of detail. So if you're super close, it's super detailed, and when you're farther away, you switch them out with lower detailed models or textures, just because you won't see it. And I'll actually explain something about that later. uh, One of our projectiles, the render is like really nice, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, none of this detail will ever be seen. But the artist wants to make something cool, and that's what they should be doing. So we can showcase it like today. You know?
That was one of the things we were discussing, like you said ahead of time, just to everybody else watching, is how I always appreciate when a game has a photo mode because I, on my own stream, during a boss battle, I try to have the foresight and the presence of mind to stop the action and capture a screenshot because I love seeing all the level of detail taking place in the fight. And it feels weird because when you capture that moment, like lightning in a bottle, it's so weird that you see it illustrated like, wow, this battle, the background, the level of detail in the animations and the effects and the particles. I don't see any of this in the live action taking place at 30, 60, 120, 144
No.
FPS. But in a still frame, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. You know, it's like it's absolutely right. And like there's so much going on, and sometimes it's to hide it, right? Like all the VFX, and like, well,
Yeah.
maybe it's a bit of a janky animation, and we pop this in here, and it works, and it, like, like you make your way, like you try your best to make it look as good as possible. But like in the end, like that's sort of the question. Like our game's art, and like the more you work day in day out with other people to try, to make something cool, and some of it might be awesome, and some of it might not hit the mark at all. Like, like you make mistakes as well, or like something's not great. And but like it's a miracle that all these games get made, and
Yes.
you can play, you click a button, it's on. It sometimes still surprises me though.
Surprises me too, and I love when they give you the option to say, look, how much detail do you want? How much draw distance do you want? How much can
Mm,
your rig handle? Do you want to see in the
yeah,
background a claymation model of a castle, or do you really want to see what it looks like up close when it's 45,000 meters away?
yeah.
So, understandable. So, are you ready to showcase? Like, is your screen ready? I can go ahead and switch over, and we're good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Before, like, I actually have to answer the question. We are
Oh,
using nanite a little. We should be using it more. But there's a trade-off and everything. But because I don't think I actually answered that question.
way to stay true to it. See, look at you. You're the host now. Nice done.
Oh, it's just
Okay, well, here we are. Everything is SFW. So,
Mm,
David, go ahead and break down what are we looking at right here?
cool. So I thought to like, what can we show, right? We have a bandits update coming, and I like last week as well. We showed a little bit. And the idea is really like to showcase a little bit what the team does. Like I am now, I guess, the face. I'm the head of 3D and animation, but in the end, like there's a lot of these guys working very hard to make very cool stuff, and it's very detailed, like we kind of just said, with your photo mode. And there's a lot of these elements that are being placed, created, thought of, fine tuned. And I wanted to go over sort of what the process is. Try to go and fast and slow, and so people can understand. But it will be a bit technical here and there. Uh, Rewatch it or write us a message, and we can on Discord, and I can answer those. It's actually also possible. I just
You
realized.
know what's really
Um,
cool about this too is that, and no pressure, I think you're the first person to actually use the word bandits in Bandits Update.
oh,
Like you're
okay.
no, it's a
There you
good
go.
thing.
That's the lead.
No, it's good because today we're showcasing all the elements and we know what we're showcasing, but you get to be the one. You're the chosen one. Right, Ruari? Right? He didn't type anything yet. We're okay.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah. Well, I'll go about it. So, uh, our our team starts with the request from design, like, hey, this is the idea for the next update or like the next step. We plan to The idea is to push a little bit of the like make the combat more interesting. We now have a lot of creatures and they're cool and they look interesting and they're fun, but we want to be more diverse and have humanoid enemies. Cool. There's a brief. And design is really like laying out like what I have. This is sort of what we get, right? It's like we get these images that sort of like the generic sort of what the first version, the first base version of what the characters will be, and what the sorts they have. This guy, for example, is a ranged character, doesn't have anything to work with at first. We give them the swords that we gave, like we have in our game, but that's all temporary. Um, there's a whole lot of
Game
other
design
stuff, which
secrets. I like that.
game design secrets and additional secrets, more secrets, even more secrets. And this is really like a little bit of the like sort of how to behave. And I thought that was more like for somebody else or to showcase or to actually like we just give it to you guys at some point. Um, but there's a lot of like how do they behave? How do we want them to behave? What should they feel like? What should you feel when you encounter them? Should you be happy or angry or sad? And I guess we're telling some people now already, but hopefully other players will like encounter them for the first time. And it's a hedonist, so like you walk into them like, is it your friend? Is it not your friend? What do they do? Um, and so on. And we get this the brief
Was that
with a
always the
whole lot of
process, or
conversation.
is it just for the bandits? When you say when you encounter them,
Mm.
has a player feel angry, sad, or happy? Was that just for the bandits, or did you feel the same way with the Grizz and
Um, well, it's actually like it's funny. Technically that's always how it goes, but it's now I think we really found our groove, especially after our early access launch, and um we really found a way to now like we made a big plan and like a roadmap and everything. Like what do we want? What do we want the players to experience next? And yeah, like there's a clear sort of direction that we all now like go on together.
good?
And it was there before, but there was like we had the launch and then we had the ideas after. But now we're really like working on that very specifically and methodically to get it over with, or not at least on our side work wise, but like build it, which is cool. Um, yeah. So design brief. I'm being told we would like to have cool enemies. All right.
Yes.
What do they feel like? How do they act and so on? Um, uh, for me, what I sort of felt like we wanted to do something different. We wanted to make them
Okay.
feel a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more scary. Like you can say
Very
at
nice.
some point where they are. I guess if we want to even say that, like that's one of those things. What environment are they in and so on. But I think like when I think of like a bandit, like somebody that sneaks up on me, like a wolf or like a shark, they have, like it's an aggressive creature.
Right.
So cool. Uh, and so first concept.
Okay.
And concepts done. These are done by Gina, that was on the stream a while ago.
Shout outs to
The
Gina.
first. Yes, first pass on what should they look like, and they're changing slightly because we always sort of like go back and forth to different, like iterations and what do we like, what don't we like, and then there's an element that we like, and we have to be mindful of also like how much we can do with a small team because we of course want to achieve these goals, but as with as much variety as possible, but it should be reachable, like it should be not too crazy. Um, so we're reusing some of the stuff here and there, but we're trying to make like completely new outfits for them. And I think I'd like to keep them very specific to the bandits mainly, because then the readability increases, and you like when you encounter them once, you're like, okay, what the hell? But the second time, you're like, okay, this is this is no bueno. Like this is not good. I have to get out of here.
Those are bandits. Those are not PCs who are looking to say,
Yeah,
"Hey, you want to trade? You want to build a town together?" They don't want to do that.
exactly. They're not going to build a town with you, at least not initially. Like who knows what's going to happen in the future, but
Hey,
for now, um, cool outfits, first step, and then which they're like we thought of this like a while ago, and yeah, like we had this for a while, never were able to execute. Now we're there. Then Elisa, an artist as well, concept artist, did a whole bunch of haircuts, hairstyles, and I thought also for the weapons, as you can see, they're quite a bit different because I thought it was a good moment to really try to sort of go a bit bigger, a bit stronger on like the look and the feel. Uh, it's easy to go very like be very timid or be very like the same what we've done in the past. So it's cool to actually like try something a little bit more crazy. In the end, we have, I think you've already seen on social media,
hmm
we have a little mohawk and like a cool sort of man bun type deal going on.
yeah, the
There's some other
side
stuff
shave
in here
ponytail.
that might be interesting for the future. I'm not going to say which or what, but we'll see in
Oh,
about 11 months, I think. So, go through it online and, double check the VoD and so on.
very
um,
nice.
now, we have the weapons. We saw already that we had the captain, which is of course a leader type guy, and then we have our two or a melee character and a range character, and we wanted to differentiate them quite a bit. We looked at different weapons. Should they be super heavy and like wearing a club or holding a club as a captain? Like, is that really what we want? We stayed away from it because we wanted to keep them a little more agile, and we did want to keep the great sword that we have, the great sword style, so it sort of like feels even, like you
By the
feel like
way,
you're
I
fighting
think
someone.
your Slack's showing up over there. You got a little pop up thing. I don't know if you have a
Oh,
second.
let me
Yeah.
quickly kill that right there. Um,
Renee, that was actually funny to have pop up. Very nice.
is it even there?
Dude knows his stuff. Yeah, I'll do this. I have an idea.
Oh, is
I'll
that the
give
one?
you
Oh,
give you a wee bit of privacy right here.
thank you very much.
I got you covered, man. Look at that, Grease. You did us a favor.
There you go. Until
Very
tomorrow.
nice. But yeah,
My boss
correct.
harassed me. Are you working?
Nope. Goodbye,
Yeah,
Slack.
no, we're all good.
You good now? All right,
Yeah, no,
cool.
we
I'll bring it
should
back.
be all good. So the weapons. We have these the big club. We did decide not to go for it because we wanted to keep a little bit of speed there. But we wanted to keep it even, right? We have these big swords, they're heavy and they're strong. So let's try to do something similar but slightly different. And then also for the ranged character, we wanted to be able for them to like what do you do when you walk up to them? Like are you walking up to somebody with a big sword and they can do nothing? Feels a bit, you know, odd, like a bit helpless,
Right.
and that's definitely not the atmosphere that we like to have in the game. Like it should be, like a type of, like it's light here and there. It's a bit more fun and not
Yeah.
heavy-hearted always.
It's a social survival game.
There you go. And so we gave them a weapon as well, a sort of a short sword, a little bit more light, so they can be a little bit more fast, but not as strong. Um, and then we move on to the different departments because we've had the concepts and we did actually some concepts here, but we really like for time's sake, we just try to iterate like visually. What do we like? What don't we like? And go from there.
But I hope that answers
Then
your question as well, Karai Saraf, just to let you know that I saw it up there. I think one of the things David was pointing out is that the armor that you see, while it does look very cool, is the armor that differentiates the bandits from other players, which is why it's their armor, as cool as it looks.
exactly, and like that's kind of the like it doesn't mean like especially the artwork that we have earlier like that there's elements of it like we have for example we made like which I think is always like being economical. We made concepts that are brand new and concepts that reflected that feeling with things that we have, so we can mix and match, break off something, put it on like an extra shoulder pad, make it two, make it one, remove it all, put it on the elbow to really uh like it's about what can we deliver in a cool way correctly, but with variation or something.
Yeah, plus you never
Um,
know what's going to happen in the future, like we keep saying. Maybe it's like a Skyrim thing where later on it's like, hey, you want to be a bandit? Just like there's a guy in Korheim who's like, hey, you, come here. You want to be here, blah, 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 blah. And that could be you one day joining the bandit team. And you start wearing their armor, and now players know that maybe you're not the greatest person.
there you go. And yeah, like exactly how you said. And we do iterations. And first we thought like we're looking for a color scheme. Should it be red? Should it be more like slightly different? For the weapons we found quite early, we found a very cool sort of concept that was slightly blue green that we had, a really cool color chosen by Elisa.
Okay.
And we're like, okay, cool. Let's just make those weapons. They're awesome. And then let's sort of let the outfits follow. So we did a second pass. This is the first pass, second pass here. And these are now more recognizable. They have their little bags where they grab their little bombs from that they throw at you. Um, and they can, yeah, like attack you from range, but they should feel a little bit weaker. They should not be dressed as fancy or cool. And there's like a nice little detail on there. This is definitely not a final version, but like nice ideas for potential to make them a bit more rough looking here and there
Yeah,
with
a couple of
some,
bros hanging
some
outside shirtless with their potions to throw at you, their pots.
exactly. And then we have hair done by Gwen. She's working a whole lot uh, on mainly the characters, the current and future ones, and it's really like we're trying to make this um, again a little bit more unique, quite recognizable. Uh, like especially with the bald heads will be a little bit different from what the other characters have, just so like you can sort of slowly see the silhouette like the more you come close. Not only do the color schemes help, the weapons, but also the hairs and so on.
I love the
uh,
multicolor hair. It reminds me of who is it? Is it Iggy Koopa out of the Koopa children who has hair
oh,
like that? I think it's Iggy.
wouldn't know the name, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
um, there you
Oh
go.
my
This is
god, look at those.
what we just saw, right?
Mmm.
When you and I were I was showing you this. This is one of those props that you have to really think and slowly like click through some software that we use, because I think it's like nice to show the process that we do,
Yeah.
which this whole thing is, of course. But our artist Dylan did all of these. Very good artist. She's lovely, uh, always ready to go. And like the biggest complaint I've ever had was, it is what it is, and that's like it's awesome to work with people that are that positive. Um, but I'll go a little bit more into detail. This is one of the bombs that the ranged character throws at you.
So good.
You want to get out of the way. It does specific effects. I'll let that happen when it happens, like when we release. This is the red one. There's other ones, is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, there was a
But it
preview on social
will.
media of two additional colors, but we didn't tell you what
There
they
you
do
go.
or what they don't do. But that's why you pay attention
Uh,
to social media.
exactly. And but these things, right? Like it's funny because the artist that's in this case Dylan, but whoever works on all this stuff, and they throw all these things around, and in this particular case, this character throws this thing like a tennis ball or a rock, flies by super fast. You will never see all this detail, and then you have all these. I'm not sure how good that is to see on the stream, but
That looks
all
so
these little
cool,
details.
man.
And
Oh my god.
and it's like like here as well on the bone, and it would just like fly by. You're trying to avoid them even, and so let's look a little bit closer. Like I had this weapon that I chose to do that. Um, it starts out in ZBrush with a sculpt, or at least that's how Dylan work. Uh, and so this is the high detail weapon, as
Ooh,
you
look
can
at this behind the
tell.
scenes stuff right here.
Yeah, stop me if I go too fast, by the way. Like,
Oh, you're good.
yeah, cool. There's some stuff here. I'm using my mouse, so forgive me that it's a little bit more funky here. But as you can tell, like there's a lot of that detail that you can see that's actually like has depth. All this detail will be simplified enormously to actually like be a lot more economical to your game engine, right? Like War Unreal can do everything, and we're trying to be nice to it, so it's nice to us, and the game runs smoothly, and you get as much FPS as possible. And but all this detail, and I was looking at it earlier as well to actually showcase this, like all that detail. Again, it's a sword; it will fly by in your face super quick.
It is a very
But
bandit sword though. Like it's seen a lot of action, and maybe they can't afford to buy a new one, so they're just trying to keep this one held together to do all the nefarious deeds they have to.
yeah, and that's the idea, right? Like they need to feel a little bit more worn and damaged. Then we have the captain that has a little bit of a cooler sword. Why? Because like they're the boss and
So the
they're
captain,
like
yeah,
the
it's trickle down.
um yeah, exactly. That's how it happens in the end. Like I have a brother, that's and a younger brother for that matter, and they get everything that I had. Here we go. So I'll show a little bit like this is super simple. Like like you see these details, and maybe I'm like, hey Dylan, sword looks great. That little strap there, that's leather. It looks a little bit too nice, and we need a little bit more damage
That
there.
is so cool.
She goes over it, and like you look at it from a distance, and it's like a little bit more damage, and there's like it's a long process to do all these things, and all these little cuts and marks and carves are done that way. Um, and I'll move on to the other software. Like we simplify, we go to Maya. So you saw all the detail from earlier. This is the leather strap in the game, which is this specific thing.
That is so cool.
All flat, but of course, all the detail from the other guy will be, magically put on here during texturing. Um, and this is technically the highest or the lowest LED actually, but the most fancy detail version of um, what the weapon will look like in game. But as you can see, all the detail got lost, and you don't have all the nice marks and so on. So we'll go to this is called Maya,
How
by the way.
how long or how tenuous is the process to go from the ZBrush system in Unreal to Maya?
Uh, it's some people hate to do like the simplification, and it's called retopologizing. So you have your full sculpt here,
Yeah.
and you put on all the detail, but you have to then pretty much draw the model on here. And it depends sort of how your workflow is a little bit. Like I would usually start here, then bring it to the next program, and then to ZBrush, and then come back, and you have like 80% already done. I think Dylan usually starts in ZBrush, so she has to do all the work here. But that's like it's same result, but whatever you're most comfortable with.
Okay.
And but it takes like in the end, the weapon like takes could take a week. Sometimes it's the question how difficult, like how crazy you want to do it, and also like how who is it for? Is it gonna be for the super like the next big evil? Is it what like the biggest boss, your final
Right.
boss of the game? And are we trying to cool sword, or is it just like like grunt number 4 that has a weapon as well? It's like here you go a knife and it's whatever.
Eh.
And you have to be smart about where you spend your time. And but these guys had a good like I'll show you here with the textures. They had a
Oh
lot
my
of
god, that's so cool.
attention. So we have the full sword together, but to get all the detail, we bake it, is what it's called, to get all that detail from ZBrush onto that simplified mesh. Um, and for example, now you have that. It seems like the details back, but actually it's all flat. It's all fake.
Yeah, yeah.
And all these little
That is so
bits.
cool, bro. If I can just dodge forever so I can stare at this without dying and without killing them, I'll be so happy.
Yeah, it's really, this is the stuff that you're talking about, right? And it's funny, like how in the end, like I said, sort of as a joke earlier, like it will fly around like up and down in your face, and you're like trying to avoid it, and there's no attention for it. But like there's really cool stuff that's being done, and not that people aren't appreciating it at all. Like people are very very positive and happy, and I think it's awesome. But it's cool to showcase it. Like I think it's also like the team as well. And, like I haven't mentioned Emmanuel, who's responsible for a lot of the trees and the cliffs, and Manny, who's done a lot of or has done most of the animation, and Sarafina as well. The They did a lot of uh, they're all part of the team that individually in their own group or own department do this awesome work. Um, but you have your base model, you explode it, and then you load in this one on the side so you can sort of see if it works together. Um, get your detail on. As you can tell, a lot of it is there.
I
I
love
think
that so much.
these
It feels so Tony Stark, just taking it and doing the hand spread and go, all right, let's tweak this right here, put that right there, and bring
and
it
the
back
one
together.
thing that I think, and it is great, and I think it's even like I do this every day for a long time now, and it's fun, like it's awesome, and it's really just like a cool thing to do, and it like you try to do your best, and um again, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work that well, and then you struggle, or there's like now, of course, I show it as if always there's nothing wrong, but sometimes you click a button, you say, please do this, and this detail, for some reason, shows up right there, like all the way on the right. You're like, why? Why? And you talk and you talk, and the worst thing is, you call somebody, could you help me? Yeah, cool. And somebody else looks at it, you do the exact same thing, and then it works. You're like, why?
Why not me?
Why did you yeah, why did you put me through this? Like my embarrassment to like ask somebody else, super simple thing. Uh, yeah, this is the weapon, but for example, I love these details. Like
You're right,
nice
Grease.
contrast. You have uh your light colors, your base sparky type look, and then your dark. Like I think it's just wonderful. Um, awesome. Then we I'll show that later. So we'll go back to our little thing here.
I just want to
So
say
that's
out
how.
loud, by the way, just putting an idea out into the ether. I'm not saying it'll ever happen. This is just me talking out loud. I think it'd be so cool if a sword like that, if there's a bandit who just keeps winning, eventually that sword should break on someone. After like 3 days of victories, it should hit a player and just go clunk and fall apart. That'd be hilarious.
I'll have a look if I can make a broken one. We can just chip it there in the middle
Yes.
somewhere.
There
We
you
can
go.
get that done.
Appreciate it.
Um, but like it's fun to work on this sort of stuff. I always, and it's especially like this is my sort of what my background, so it's like I'm passionate about that as well. But I think as well, it's amazing work, and we actually have a lot of, we're testing out some stuff with the characters, and if that works, I think we really have something cool. Um, it's something definitely to look forward to. At least it's something that I'm excited about.
Yes.
Um, then the animation, because you have to get like bring things to life, and so we have our more base character here. They're all half naked, or at least these guys are. But this is our base one with quite simple animation, not too much fluff. He's just, like I said, he's just a guy throwing some pots, and then his secondary type um, attacks and everything. His mood is more simple, sort of slash stuff. Quick little running animation for our melee character, a melee
Yes.
bandit, and this is our, was last week. It was, let's just call it was teased. It wasn't leaked. Our stagger animation, uh, but you'll see more of that soon, I guess. And then we have, this is possibly the animation that we were talking about
That
earlier.
is so cool. Oh my
And
god.
I'm gonna quickly fight.
You are.
Yes, I'll fight. Which one should I fight? Should I just fight this guy alone?
I'm
Uh,
I'm being watched. I'm staying out of this. You decide.
Okay, I'll have a quick peek there. Uh,
By the way,
I'll
all of
show
you right
this
now who are
real
watching the
quick.
stream, keep in mind that a few of these animations, while they haven't been shown on X, Twitter, or whatever, they have been shown on Threads and Instagram. And that's one of the reasons we reinforce following all the social medias, because some share social media stuff and some are exclusives. For watching this one social media channel, you get to see some things maybe the others don't. But eventually we'll come over there.
Yeah, definitely. And there's always stuff, right? Like that's always what we try to do. Like we share our stuff every day. At the end of the day, like this is what I've done, and like it's all stuff generally for you to pick up. If it's not like too like we're generally quite transparent. So it's like I'm not here like with a pounding heart, like oh my god, as long as I don't spoil this, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Uh, but it's like yeah, it's cool that we can share all this as well. Like
I
it doesn't
agree.
really happen too much. Um, so this is our design level, our little designer thing. Here we test things a couple of weeks ago. I've like we've did some work on the jump and how that felt, and I've jumped off this weird little contraption here, like it's a slope that you walk on. I've jumped off that thing 100 times, tried to die, tried not to die, almost die, and like all those uh just to test the animations and like does it work? And this is where we test everything. And I made myself a little platform, and for the sake of time, I'll just show the one I think.
Okay.
Uh, so I'm gonna play from here. There we go. I'm walking around.
You look great.
We still have some errors with the pants, which is I know something that needs to be fixed.
I like how you have
Um,
like a Squid Games type number above your head.
yeah, uh, like you have to be specific with who you are. I'm 258.
Are you one of the
Yeah.
final 10?
The thing is, you like to think so, but who am I to say that I will be?
Very
Um,
honest. I like that.
So, well, let's first actually try, or actually, I'll pot throw it. Like, I'll show you what I was just talking about. Oh,
Oh,
yeah. You ever, he starts fighting immediately, and I'll try to walk away from them. There you go.
yes.
And we're still working on a couple of things. Like, he's now been disengaged, which he shouldn't be, and so on.
This
But
is cool
that's
because it
like that.
shows what's not actually going to happen fully, but showing you the process of how you're working with things backstage.
Yeah, I might die, which I don't like. Actually, I think I'm okay. Um, but the main thing is, this is one of those things, right? And I want to show it because that's the little pot that flies by. That like you'll see it,
Yeah.
but it's like Dylan spends like a lot of time making something cool, and it just sort of flies by. But in the end, like that's I think especially for the art department, and it's for concept as well, and
Oh my gosh,
it's
that
really about
AOE is active for quite. That's a lot of active frames. That's there for a while.
yeah, they have like the idea is that they're a bit more aggressive because they're a little bit more weak. None of this is tweaked, by the way. So I'm fighting with a twig sword on this guy, and like it might hit them quite quickly, and so none of this should be taken into account as a final version. Um,
Good
but
job,
yeah,
dude.
like an poison now. Thank you very much. But I'd like to show something that Manny did, our animator, the other day. Which this guy's gonna be super aggressive, which is the captain, so I'll try to run away
We're gonna see the
immediately.
captain. Let's go. Yo, oh, the animation was so sick.
Yeah, so we have this, and now it's gonna do this the whole time because I tried to showcase it not only to the team but also to just test it. So this will be the one more unique attack for this captain character. And the main thing here was like we're trying to, like be, think a little bit bigger, like a bit more, like push it a little farther because I think we're doing a good job. We have uh, a lot of cool ideas. Like this guy, for example, like he's already staggered, which he, like that's not um,
Yeah, we
balanced.
don't want to build false expectations that when this drops, you're gonna go in the game and I'm gonna hit him twice and I got this. On wait, it's not working. I hit him twice and they're not staggered. What?
Uh, exactly, especially with the twig swords. But we're some funkiness with the running. But we're trying to get this sort of stuff in, right? Like, and it's really like trying to push the combat and being a bit more crazy, and uh, it allows us to also think about those things for our own character. Not that we're all gonna fly around like Yoda anytime soon.
Nice.
Um, but it's like it's a little bit bigger, stronger, cooler, flashier.
Oh yeah, they look like a captain and they're moving like a captain. Even when they slow walk approach you, like I don't have to waste resources or energy on you. I can just walk you down.
And that's the stuff that you need to keep in mind. Like it's always the like how much or how little is there to try to open up something. Uh, what should they act like? How should they feel? Are they feeling correctly? Do they look disengaged? Is that weird? No, well, blah blah blah. So this is our attack. This is the attack that we just saw. Um, and all these little bits by all these different departments. Brooke as well, an artist on the team, does a lot of the VFX, and they like set all this up, and they're all like their sound effects and a bunch of coding, and then all that comes together, and
Shout outs to
hopefully then
Dane. Shout outs to Brooke.
exactly, and then try to balance it properly. And now we have it in like to this extent, right? Like, and it looks cool and it feels kind of alright, but we're now trying to make it that like we feel like for this one, for example, we're there like like 80%, maybe even 90%. Like we like how the idea of it, everything feels about right, but it's really about those last details that can make it feel like amazing. And it's really now we're in that process. So that's generally what we do as an art team, and I am currently the face of it, sitting here and presenting other people's work. But I'm trying to support them here and there, and like I set up this attack here, and in the end, it's all these guys working very hard to hopefully give you guys something very cool.
Yeah, I like. Good job, Grease. Yes, that's definitely clapping emo. A little moss deer clap right there. That is fantastic, David. That looks so cool. We revealed just enough stuff, but I just love the level of detail in terms of like the idea you put out there in the ether of when you see the bandit, when you see the group. If it's a group of bandits, you know right away that's the captain. I just know right now looking at them, and they move like a captain, and the subordinates will move like subordinates to support their captain along the way.
Yep.
The idea works.
Yep. And it's yeah, it's exciting to work on, and there's some cool stuff there, and it's difficult not to talk about the stuff because like
Yeah.
we're now talking about this update, but we're all like you think ahead and things that are fun to do as a team that we're like working on now, and like we're finishing these little bits, and then looking forward to what comes next and next year, because we're almost at the end of the year now.
True. And this is actually meant to kickstart the idea of the bandits too for all of you watching. Is that this stream is detailing. We've been doing small tidbits, a little bit of time now on social media for the past week. Showing the actual the little pots, the color, the design, the 3D arts, all the work that Dina's done along the way, and teasing things. But now this is the idea of okay, you've seen it on the stream, and you all be wondering when it comes out, and we'll announce that when we announce that. But you're going to start to see more teases take place up into the release date. So this is like station one along the track. With that shared excitement that you have of being able to showcase things and things you want to show, everybody else feels the same way. And I think this is the idea of you're going to see it soon. You're going to see more things happening. WIP soon.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, but it's all really neat stuff. I mean, I will, and I guess do your best to answer this the best way you can. One thing that I see of interest in there from Greece is, and I am going to complain that it is too easy. Of course, there's always a delicate balance of making the experience fun for everyone, right? Because you remember what it was like pre open beta, then what it was like open beta, and then the idea of this is insufferable. Then clearing out beta, and now everything is easy. I can stomp everything except maybe Tarivas. Then Darkest Night comes, and for some it's easy. For some it's like, I don't even want to get hit by this stuff. I'm just trying to make the game cozy and farm, and these things are attacking me. I just stay indoors at nighttime. So now we have bandits. And it's like, okay, we have bandits. Who does this fit in line with? This is going to be difficult enough for the difficult crowd that wants a challenge, and fair enough for the crowd that says, I don't even want to encounter them. Let me walk out of the room, says with a name. Perfect.
That's mainly a game design answer, and for them to answer the question. And like honestly, like I think it's a balance, right? Like
Yeah.
it's what feels right, and for that matter, we're early access, so we're gonna check this out. Hopefully, it feels right for most people, wherever that really fits. So the bottom end and the top end here and there. Sometimes means that maybe like how we set that up, like what should we do? Like if you have four captains in one place, sounds
Yeah.
like a terrible idea. At least I fought them earlier. It sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
So it's those sort of tweaks, and that's like we're gonna do it. We're gonna launch it at some point, and then there no doubt there's gonna be a tweak. Like
Yeah.
it's like okay, that was one too many. We'll take it away, or it's too easy. We put five back in. Yeah,
I mean, the thing is, we're always watching and we're always tweaking. Tweaks have happened in the past for the betterment of the player, sometimes to the detriment of the player. And I think this will be the same thing. When the
yeah,
Bandits does launch, we'll get live feedback from all of you in the Discord and the streams that we watch of all of you who play it and get an idea, analysis. Oh, okay, this needs to be this, or even presenting new challenges. If some of you feel a certain way about it, cool. Maybe we'll have an area where there'll be four captains, and if you really want a challenge and you want a way to reward yourself, go ahead, do it. But that's the fun part about this industry and with Blankhans. It's just watching everything take place in the ecosystem, and I see. Okay, got it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So what about the new sword design? WIP soon, Grace. We'll cover that when we cover that. Nice try. Very nice.
That's it's kind of a good little thing to say as well. Like this is like of course I'm showing something, but this is definitely not everything. Like there's more to it. This is really sort of like what has to do with the bands themselves. Um, yeah, and there's more.
Perfect. Well, this has been quite educational. It's been a full hour of content. David, exceptional job. Everybody who's been watching right now, if you can put your little moss deer paws together, hooves together, and get a little round of applause for David for everything he's presented today and all the information. And we got through this. I think massive W.
Yeah, thanks. It was nice to do it, right? And I hope that it's like it gives a little bit of an insight, and like partially some people like see it and they're like, "Ooh, that's interesting," and I would maybe like to,
Ooh.
like download Blender. If like for example, for the people who would do like to do 3D stuff, Blender is free. You can try it out. There's millions of tutorials for it. Go check it out, and maybe we'll become colleagues. Um,
Yeah, I like that. There are people in Discord right now who are playing around with different things and different ideas of meshing and coding. I've seen Patty out there doing stuff, Karai Sarap, and then even all of you who are doing courageous designs within your own sound center. I think there's always
yeah,
a great entry level for creation, and I think it starts with games like this and being able to showcase how your mind works, how your mind operates. When you create these majestic towers and town centers, that's creativity at work.
absolutely. It's so funny. That's the funniest thing. Like I was making the first the 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 player building system, right? Like the first houses and everything. And I'm literally like a 2-year old like drawing a house like my daughter draws a house. Boom, house. And that's what I made in the like in our little developer scene. And I'm taking screenshots. Oh, doesn't this look cool? And like sure. And it's in the game. Engineers hook it up. Whatever. 2 days later, there's like this is like a long time ago at this point. Uh, Whoever did I think Hauk or something, and then like I see a post on social media, and it's like this crazy house with all these elements that are like the roofs are used for like bridges and everything's insane. It's also with all the people like like I'm being very creative in this sense, but other people are like have such like the on the cliff that town as well. Like it's so creative and so cool to see the people like have fun with it and actually design something. It's really cool.
Yeah, I like I like that experience being shared too, especially from your mind because I had the same experience as someone who has gone through and played Arc and play a little bit of Valheim and has played a ton of Minecraft. And I'm like, bro, building is easy. And I'm so proud of building one little house and going, ta-da. And then my friend builds one. I'm like, oh my God, am I not good at this? I thought I was creative.
Yeah. Well, especially though, like I'm, like doing this, like head of 3D, cool, bro. And then like environment artist, like my first house. Like, all right, whatever.
Put the little dog outside with the torso and the head the same size with stick limbs. Ta-da!
Yeah, 3 next to it. Like there you go.
Very nice. Well, thank you, David, for bringing all of your expertise into PBS and also in 3D art and animation. And I think we got away with the same stream today. Nothing but dubs.
Yeah, awesome.
For
thank you.
Of course. For you personally, is there anything you want to put out into the ether in terms of projects, personal passions? If there's a social media you want them to follow to build your following up and follow your work, any of that?
That's cool. Well, the project, let's just keep it here, right? Like the Bandit update. I think it's gonna be awesome. Quite excited. There's a lot of work that's being done with care, really trying to bring that extra bit. And I think it's a start to what comes next and in the future. Otherwise, it's my Instagram, which is David Rones _art, I think. And
That's RONNES.
RONNES, yeah, absolutely. And my ArtStation, which is where my professional portfolio is, and my Instagram is more like sometimes I post something that I'm slightly embarrassed about, and then I don't put it on my ArtStation. It's like, it's okay for Instagram. It's just a test.
Gonna have a testing ground somewhere. So awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you, dude, for spending time with us today and showcasing everything. It was nice to see you again. And who knows?
Yeah, it was good to see you too.
Maybe we'll both be together at Gamescom once again in 2024 for the entire F1 team and more shenanigans.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good.
The house is on Insta, the one that he made. My first house. We'll take a look for it.
I'll post it there. No, actually, I might even have a look if I can. Like, I actually send you the thing.
Yeah.
Like what we initially built it for and what it's actually used for.
I like it. A good full circle moment. Thank you, David. Thanks for stopping by.
Cheers. Thanks.
How about that, everyone? Wasn't that fun? The hits keep on coming. Thank you, Burari, for posting the ArtStation link down there. David Runs. Swell guy. I imagine that Greece will take time to update the tier system. But for all of you who are here, whether you celebrate or not, wherever you are in the world, I thank you that you found time in your day to watch today's stream. Whether you're watching it right now on the live stream or maybe even later on. Because later on, this will be up on YouTube. This will be showcased in clips on various social media. And it will be on Twitch to watch later on as well. So you all have different opportunities to view this at your leisure. In case any of you want to, I don't know, maximize the video and zoom in to try to find details. But I assure you, David is quite thorough. So you can take your time. Is he looking for the house? I think he's looking for the he's actually looking for the house. That's hilarious. But thank you all of you for stopping in here. Actually, you know what? Before we leave, everyone, I have a surprise for you. He found the house. So as a last minute surprise, before we end the stream, we're gonna stop the music here. David found the house. Check this out. Here we go.
Yeah, I have no idea if people can hear me, but this is like
the
first quick version that I built to be like, oh yeah, cool. Like these are the elements, and like it was just, of course, like I'm. This is also like in Unreal, so I'm not actually like playing and building, so it's a bit like there's no snapping points and so on. But like it cracks me up that this is like, oh yeah, this looks great, and then like to see these crazy buildings like a week later, and I'm like, oh my god.
I think it's a good looking house. It's very Life is Feudal.
Yeah, it's you can shelter there.
Yeah, it's a good pub. I saw this somewhere in God of War Ragnarok. I like it. It's a good look. Be proud of yourself. That's great. That's A1 design. Look at that.
Thank you very much.
Head of 3D art and animation, everybody. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, cheers.
The important thing is that we all start somewhere. Not everything becomes a mountain town center overnight, but it can be. And that's why we're making changes to the PBS and giving more opportunities to shape things the way we want. We saw that. We went over it with the stream about a month ago, right? So things are always changing and adapting, and just remind you all, we're in early access. We're still building the game that we want to see. And with every update and with every patch note, we get there. We thank all of you for supporting along the way. And if you don't stream the game, stream the game. I invite you to. Hop on to Stream Elements or OBS or XSplit and boot yourself up. You can even do a stream with no cam and no mic. You can do it with just mic only, but it's an opportunity for you to showcase your own creative endeavors. And if you don't want to stream, post your media in the Discord and take part. Share it with your friends. We're always happy to have you here, helping us out, showcasing everything. It means the absolute world to us.